See how my voice will last. I got just a couple things I wanted to share. I'm gonna have Amy share some stuff. I got to thinking about um, just this new year and all the opportunity and uh, what we really have our hands on. And as I'm sharing this with people, either people off of our list or off somebody else's list, wherever they come from, I'm really just in awe at how many people actually haven't heard about this yet. I mean, this company is huge, but yet a lot of people haven't heard about it. All the people that I showed yesterday, I say, it's called LifeWave X39. Have you heard of it yet? I'll say that in the plan somewhere in the presentation. And no, I haven't heard of it. Okay, great. Well, David Schmidt, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so it tells me that there's such a huge opportunity still, and it can grow way faster than any of us can imagine because we don't have to leave our house. And so I just want to read a couple things, and I got a couple bullet points I'm going to go through. I'm going to make Amy talk to preserve my voice here, but I don't know how many of you read this book. You don't necessarily have to read it. It's okay, but Next Generation Leader, and I want to read you something out of it and tell you what it convicted me of. Sorry, I'm trying to hang in there. No, it's okay. Anyhow, on page 60, he's talking about Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, and then Peter Senge's book, The Fifth Discipline. Both are great books. But he says, as leaders, we want to believe things are good. Of course we do. We want to be positive, right? That's what we're taught. Our ego and self esteem are intertwined with our ability to lead. Life is good when we're leading well. So the tendency, as Peter Senge in his books points out, is to put a positive spin on everything imaginable while ignoring evidence to the contrary. The danger, of course, is that over time, we will lose sight of what actually is happening around us. And then that will become a habit that we just start to see the world that way. It's literally the second law of thermodynamics in action, which in a vacuum environment, things tend towards disorder until they encounter resistance. So everything in creation tends towards disorder on its own, including our attitudes and our view of the world. So um, I want to tell you that I was very convicted by that. Here's why. For me, I had this view like, well, why isn't everybody else, going out and going director, executive, or whatever? And I thought, it hit me that I'm not setting the pace. I need to set the pace faster, do more, and create a vacuum so people will see it and believe it and buy. It doesn't really matter for any of us, whether you were an emerald or a platinum or a super grand poobah double diamond dragon wizard in some other business. That doesn't matter. We're doing LifeWave now, right? And so that hit me like, okay, Baldy Locks, you need to lead. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to step it up a notch here and create a vacuum. And so you saw it on the chat with 6 for 6 yesterday. Amy was my voice was going out yesterday. I'd text her. I need something to drink. I need tea. I need medicine. I need whatever. Then she kept bringing me stuff, and I'd go to the bathroom about every 3 hours because I thought, you know what? Even though we're going to qualify for Hawaii, which I committed to everybody that we would do, I want my biggest part of qualifying for Hawaii. We're going to go way over to be the people that we personally enrolled. I want to set the example. So, so that's what we're committing to do. And if my voice holds up, I'm going to probably, I think I got 3 meetings tomorrow, new people. I plan on putting all of them in. But yesterday, six for six, I think I put in 7 applications. I had one follow through. So it went 6 for 6 yesterday. Now, I think that might have been, I think that's the most I've ever shown in one day because in the past I'd have to drive to somebody's house, right? You couldn't get there. So I just stacked them up one after the other, bang, 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 bang. And every one of them, I knew that they were getting started. How did I know that? Because I said so, because I believed it. I just assumed it on every single one. And that was kind of what I believed going in. And so when I started it, I would say, if I do a good job here, I may not. But if I do a good job here, there's the hands, right? If I do a good job here, at the end of this, you'll say, this makes sense. I definitely want to try this. If nothing else, you're going to want to try this. So hopefully I'll do a good job. What do you know about stem cell technology? That's how I get into it, okay? So I want to cast the vision. I want to talk about on these next several managers calls, like, how do we do something that's totally unreasonable in this industry? Because we have our hands on a business that is totally unreasonable. Like, it's crazy. There's been nothing like this. And I know, we get excited about different MLM companies or whatever, but I've seen enough where, and Nick just brought up that point about David Schmidt. Like, that's just another affirmation. And full disclosure, what I got out of that Saturday, how do I say this? This is being recorded. I was really inspired at the level of speaking that's not required to get a really big rank in this company. That tells you how good this business model is. That's what that tells you. You don't have to be, a Billy and Peggy Florence type speaker, all polished, and you don't have to be that. You just have to go out and do the work, and that's what most people are doing. They're focusing and doing the work, and they're focusing on the product. Um, Most of them. Some of them are still leading with the business, and I'm not going down that road. Y'all know where I stand on that. I think we lead with this product hardcore. It is the way to go. This is that good. That's the first time I've ever believed that. Um, so we're going to continue to talk about vision of what it can be, and I want you to think about that on your own, and then as we have conversations, anybody here can reach out to me on my cell phone, or I think probably everybody down here has my cell phone number or on WhatsApp or whatever. But I'm looking for some people that want to do something really unreasonable this year. What's that coach's name we talked about last night? The Indiana coach. What's his name? Football coach.
Is it Brigetti? What's it?
Sergetti.
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 Signetti.
Signetti. So I won't go through the whole story to save my voice, but y'all know the story. If you haven't, look up I Win, Google me. Just go on YouTube and look that up. You'll see the story. But what he did, this coach came and took over this football program that was totally never should have been able to do what he did, but he did. And it's all because of his mindset. And so I want y'all to have the mindset. Here's what I can tell you. Some of these folks that Amy and I brought aboard yesterday, they're going to be on this call in the next couple of weeks. And then we're going to bring some more, and we're going to bring some more, and we're going to bring some more. We're going to keep bringing people. And I hope you have that same. Now, if that's not you, if you're just like, hey, we just like to hang out, we're glad to have you. But we're going to continue to break managers and, Lord willing, directors, executives, and eventually presidentials. That's our vision for this year is when we go to, I don't know when, maybe next fall we'll go to Life Wave convention or something. I don't know where I'm at on all these conventions, but I would probably lean more towards going to a Life Wave convention. I would love it just to have our own section of all these people that hit these new ranks that led with a LifeWave product and really did something that nobody else is doing right now. And not to shed the light on us, but to really show David Schmidt and the rest of the staff at LifeWave, like, yep, we really are thankful for this company and we want to play our part. So that's my vision for this year, at least part of it. So The next point I want to make is, and I'm going to have Amy talk about it, is overcoming procrastination and whatever's holding me back. A guy that was on my team, he wrote this book, and he asked me to write a blurb for it. It's a really good book. It's called Discipline Determines Your Destiny by Dave Corey. He's actually a big power lifter guy. But he talks about falling back into survival mode, or you could call it procrastination, because remember, second law of thermodynamics, things tend towards disorder. There's no such thing as I'm staying the same or holding my own in life. You're either growing or you're not. We're growing or we're rutting. He says many people fall back into survival mode because they expect life to be easy. So when I say, went 6 for 6 yesterday, put in 7 applications. I'm not saying that to say, look how good we are at this. That was so easy. That's not what happened. That takes a lot to book that many plans. And I had some people cancel and all kinds of stuff, but I said, doggone it. I got to set the pace. I got to create the vacuum. I can't expect anybody else. I got to do at least twice as much as what everybody else is doing. So, uh, so many people fall back into survival mode because they expect it to be easy. When they hit obstacles, they see them as reasons to stop instead of opportunities to grow. So I can't tell you how close I was tonight to just telling Amy, you're running it tonight. I can't talk. Literally, I was on a call a little while ago and my voice stopped. It just stopped. I couldn't say anything. I'm like, dang it. Put these patches on there. Patches are helping. Actually, I can talk. Um, but I think that should speak to all of us. So here's a guy that's a power lifter. He wins all these competitions and stuff. Obviously, you go through a lot of pain in powerlifting. You go through a lot of pain building any kind of business, or being a parent or a spouse or whatever. But don't settle in. Don't accept that this is the status quo. Get up and fight. Like that's got to be it. Remember that second law of thermodynamics and fight against it. We will go backwards if we're not willing to fight and move forward. So, anyhow, I want Amy to share a little bit. She said, "What do you want me to share tonight?" I handed her "Eat That Frog." We both read it several times. I said, "Anything out of this?" And so I think she's got some good stuff here. And I'm gonna go get some tea. I'll be right back.
I was going to get you tea. I
You're
offered.
talking.
I didn't want him to leave me alone. Anyways, well, last night we had a marriage ministry meeting and it was really, really good. The couple shared, they talked about unreasonable champions, and I loved that term. And one of the things that they said is normalize the fight, not the failure, meaning like fight for your marriage, fight for your family. And I feel the same about your business. Like, don't get like how the world has gotten where it's just normal to fail. Right. No, he said normalize the fight. And I feel like we can put that in any part of our life, that's how it should be. Right. Like, I think too often, if it's things that we've done in the past, other businesses, I mean, we could go back to things that maybe we didn't finish in high school or whatever, and we've normalized the failure and we drag that into everything and we forget to fight for things. And so, like, let's do the opposite of what the world is doing and let's fight. We do need to fight for our marriage. We do need to fight for the family more than ever right now, for sure. And we do need, to fight for if it's our business or what it is that we want. Um, every failure is a feedback, not a setback. Get back on your feet, learn, and give it another try, and repeat until you win. And so, Tim was talking about habits, and I believe success is the product of daily habits, not a once in a lifetime transformation. And I can look back in my life. I can speak for me, not everybody, but I can look back at times when I can see growth and I can see that I was consistent in daily habits. I can see that I had a discipline about my day and I had the same habits every day. And I can look in at times where I got lazy, whether it be reading, um if it was, I mean, whatever. I'm trying to think, like if I wasn't consistent in my Bible reading, which praise God, for 15 years I've been doing the year in the Bible and I've been good with that. But we can all look at times in our life though where the discipline falls, we don't have the habits, and we are not in a good growth. I could say that, at least for me. So I definitely have to have habits. I need to stick with them for me to feel like I'm growing, not just, like in business, but I need to be growing as a believer. I need to grow as a wife, especially and a mother. Um, so like I said, it's a product of daily habits, not a once in a lifetime transformation. So in Eat That Frog, it's one of my favorite books. And I have to say, when he first handed me that book, I remember when he had me this book years ago, like I was truly offended because I can be a procrastinator for sure as a phlegmatic.
And that is why I handed it to you. But back
You
then, this is years ago.
back then I was going to say now today when he handed it to me, I was like,
It
oh.
was an old Tim. Yeah.
And so I looked at him today and I panicked and I was like, oh no. And he was like, no, I just need you to take some notes on it. I'm like, I've really tried to get better at this.
No, I said now you can teach on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was a fight years ago when you handed me that book. I mean, I know I'm a procrastinator. We all know our weaknesses, but then when our spouse is like, "Would you like to read a book on that?" We're offended. Like, that's not my weakness. Why are you telling me that? Anyways, I'll get back to this. Sorry. So in Eat That Frog, he talks about your success in life will be determined by the kind of habits you develop over time, like the habit of setting priorities, overcoming procrastination, and doing your most important task. It's a mental and physical skill, and this habit is learnable through practice and repetition. So that was one of the things that I learned a long time ago, and I still try to do whatever the hardest thing of my day is on my list, I do it first because the rest of the day is cake for me. If it's like when you would have me contact people, that would be the first thing that I do because that is out of my comfort zone. And I know if I did that, I'm like the rest of the day, I can do it. And so if you can get into that habit of doing your hardest thing, if it's phone calls or if it's I don't know what it is, but that has been a habit that I'm so thankful that I learned a long time ago because now I don't panic so much when you have something that gets you out of your comfort zone a little bit because you've just made it a habit. Like, okay, this is the hardest thing. I'm going to do that first, and the rest of the day I can easily do this. And so, like, I know if I've ever set that aside, like I'm going to do that tomorrow. I don't really want to do this. I feel like I can't sleep because I'm mad at myself that I didn't tackle it first. It was like I should have just did it first. Now I'm disappointed in myself. Like I almost yeah,
Then you
I
beat
get
yourself up.
I beat myself up
Yeah.
and then okay.
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Listen, this was my meeting. You were gone. I was taking over. I'm just kidding.
Unfortunately, my voice is coming back.
I could never take over. You know that.
You got it. Keep going. You're doing great.
The completion of an important task actually triggers the release of endorphins in your brain. And that's exactly what I was saying. Like, right, it is a bit of a high. It's a good addiction. It's a positive addiction to actually have, right? He actually says that you can actually become addicted in a very positive way to success and contribution. And that's what I felt like I was finally getting out of it. Like, oh, this feels really good to be able to go to you and say, okay, I did this, this, and this. And you probably thought, oh, I was going to do that the next day. Like she'll never get to that list, but it does get to be a good challenge. So whatever, if it is your chicken list or whatever it is that if it's setting daily consistent plans, I say attack that tomorrow. Just say, okay, I've been saying I'm going to book 5 plans and I have yet to do it because I'm afraid to or whatever. Then book 5 plans or whoever it is that you're afraid to call, or if it's a follow up or it could be something outside of the business if it's, but I just say, I start sometime this week, say to yourself, whatever the hardest thing I'm going to do, I'm doing that before anything else today. And you'll see that it does feel really good. So he says, number one, make a decision to develop the habit of a task completed. That is a melancholy. That is like such a dream, right? How many of my melancholies love to like go through their list at the end of the day and be like, yes, I did it all. It feels so good. But it really is making it a habit of doing that. And I've tried to teach my kids that, like, in your notes on your phone, if there's things that you know that you need to do this week, put it in your phone and you know you've got it there and it feels so good to check it off. And then it's not like willy-nilly all over the place. Like start that habit now in your life just to kind of be organized. Um, Two, he says, discipline yourself to practice the principles over and over until it's automatic. So, I mean, I think that's just kind of a given. That's kind
Yeah.
of what I just
Yeah.
said is,
Can I interject something here? I feel I was going to say it, then I wasn't going to say it, then it came back again. So I'm going to say it. when Amy's talking about habits, one of the habits that we personally have developed that's been very helpful for us, working together, is we wake up in the morning together, and we're blessed to be able to do this. I know not everybody can do it logistically, but we do devotions together every morning. Oh, 6 days a week, actually. We don't do it 7 days a week. 6 days a week, we do devotions together. And we also communicate just about the day and what's going to happen and what happened yesterday. And, it just gives us a chance to create that intimacy. So we have trust throughout the day. And, if you're not married, obviously that doesn't apply to you with your spouse, but it does apply with you and God. So get time alone with God in the morning. And, I just think that that's really important. And I brought that up because last night we're with all these people at this marriage ministry thing Amy talked about, and I can just tell that most people aren't on that same path. It's more like, hey, we're married. That's cool. I told her I loved her a few years ago or whatever. It's just crazy. Uh, and I think we can be kind of willy-nilly. Let's take marriage out of it. I think we can be kind of willy-nilly with the way we view the business that way. Like, so as Amy's talking about habits for the whole person, whether it's your physical, mental, spiritual, all that, the whole thing's got to go together. So sorry to
Mhm.
interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. But I'm glad that you said that because this is being very transparent. But that is when I choose to have my hard conversations with you. Maybe
Yeah.
something that's on my mind that I haven't wanted to come to you about, or just a question that I have. I know that that time in the morning is the best time for us to have these conversations because I don't want to go out through the day thinking, oh, this has been on my mind and I haven't brought this up. And so there's times that we've been sitting downstairs for 2 hours because that's our time where we do communicate about our day, about our schedule. I mean, I mentor with you. I ask you
Yeah.
questions about that, like what do you need me to do today?
You
What
offer me wisdom
what
about
book do
certain
I need
things.
to
Yeah.
read?
Yeah.
But a lot of times I ask you what you need of me today. I catch you up on stuff with the kids, but we do have crucial conversations often in the morning
Yeah.
because we'd rather start off our day well, like have that conversation, be in a good place after the conversation and have a good day.
Yeah.
So,
And you could do it at noon. You could do it at night before you go to bed, whatever. We're just saying it's important to do. And if you're not married, it's important to spend time with God. So
and I say if you have kids still at home, I'm just throwing this out there. If you can periodically have several times a week or a few times a week have dinner with your kids and communicate with them, I think that's just so huge.
yeah.
Like find out how their day is, have the not hard conversations, but find out how they are. Like I'm very thankful that, I mean, we kind of made our kids have dinner with us often because that's how you get to know what's going on, in their life. And they didn't go up to their room until we cleaned the kitchen, and I'd keep one of them downstairs cleaning the kitchen till I felt like they were good or they had shared everything. So I just I think there's just not enough dinner table conversations going on with kids, and I don't think parents know where they're at, and they find out on social media, somebody tells them they posted something and you had no clue that your kid was going through that or whatever. And I just think anyways, I'll get off my little soapbox on
Oh, that's cool.
that. You can tell I was at a marriage thing last night. Okay, back everything you do with determination until the habit is locked in and it becomes a permanent part of your personality. And I really love that part of it. Back it up with determination. Um, and I hopefully you have seen that part of me that procrastination is not a part of my personality anymore. I think I mean, I went through school that way. I grew up that way. I didn't study for a test until the night before. I didn't turn in my homework. Like I lived probably 35 years of my life that way until I finally got this book and I tried to make a new habit and determined to not have that be a part of my personality anymore. So I believe it really can happen. And I'm just going to finish up. There's a John Maxwell quote that I really liked. The difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and their response to failure. And I think that is so true. I love how he says their perception of and their response to failure. So, I mean, it's going to be a part of life for all of us. And in anything, I mean, it can happen with our kids, it can happen in business, it could happen whatever, but we learn from it and you just go forward. I mean, you guys know that. I mean, a lot of you know that principle is just not to let it define you. It take what you need from it and go forward.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. All right. So any questions, comments, anything on that, folks? It's
Yes,
helpful. Yeah.
you were going to say something?
Something that Peggy told me once, Amy, hardest lesson to learn, the easiest lessons to teach. You did a good job.
Oh, I appreciate that. That is so true.
Yeah.
Wisdom from Peggy. Oh, I love
I'm glad you said, both of you, that you made your kids have dinner with you, because a lot of times we hear these nuggets, but we think that everything's going to be smooth, and it's
Kids are
not.
coming to have dinner with you, and you make them come and have dinner with you.
Yeah, and I believe that growth, personal growth, family growth, relationship repairing is always rocky. And I'm glad that you guys are clear with that, because it's well, my experience, maybe because I'm this high choleric person, it's never been smooth whenever I want to work on a relationship or something, achieve some type of growth or achieve some type of relational relational outcome that becomes a better place, it's always rocky. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it just takes effort and understanding that anything worthwhile is always going to be more difficult than we think it's going to be.
it is. And so much of the work is teaching kids to quit. Well, quit the job if it's too hard. Well, then don't be married anymore. Or like everything is just like if it's too hard, quit. And like that is not how, I mean, the business did that for us networking years ago, and then we just, put that into our kids. Some of our kids hated some of the sports. It's like, no, you're finishing. Like, I don't, it's gonna, like the boys now wish we would have made them play football longer. I mean, they had to finish out each season, but they were like, it was so hard. And now they're like, oh, I loved it. I'm like, but you said it was so hard, you didn't want to do it anymore. They're like, oh, but it taught us so much. The coaches were so hard. And I'm like, see, so you're so right. Like anything, yeah, it's gonna be hard. It should be hard. If it's not, then are you really gonna get fruit from it? Like are you really gonna bear fruit? You may not,
Yeah.
I have a personal story with that. I have sons. I believe in learning how to handle yourself, how to fight, and I've taught that to my boys. And one of them took after it like full hearted. He still fights, he still competes, he still does all that stuff. And the other one was like, I don't know. And I said, well, I'll make you a deal. I just want you to keep going, and I'll go with you if I have to. I don't care, until you graduate high school. That's all I want you to do. And when you graduate high school and you never want to go be in a dojo again, that's fine. But I want you to know that as a man, you need to know how to handle yourself. And if you have to defend yourself or your family, you know exactly how to. You don't need to be competing like your brother or like I did when I was young. That's not the thing, because that's for people that like it. But liking it and does not mean that you don't know how to. Well, he did. He literally did that. And today, he thanks us. He says, "Thank you, Dad." Because he gives me that also gives me confidence when I'm around in a place and things don't look the way it should be. So it was not easy, because he he didn't want to do it again anymore. And now when he's devoted to baseball. But when he's not in the off season, he actually goes and enjoys it and fights and compete. Not He doesn't compete. He just trains. And
Mhm.
those type of, it's just one of those things that I had to figure it out in my personality, because the old Peter would have gone, there's no way you're quitting, you're going, I don't care. I had to figure out a way to, all right, let's make a deal. That type of thing. And it worked. And I had to grow and he had to grow. That type of thing. Just a comment in something in our lives that we applied that.
I think that's a great story. I think it's great that you did that. I wish there were more parents that did that.
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Not as many.
Yeah, our boys, a couple of them took martial arts, but all of them I've taught carry a gun and stand 6 feet away from somebody. So if they do know martial arts, they can't. And you got a gun, you always got the upper hand, right? All right. Anyone else? Okay. We'll wrap it up because I don't know how much longer my voice. Doug, you going to talk? Go ahead, bud. No, you're good. Okay.
I'm just moving my arms so my fingers can keep loose.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I just say all those are great reminders because you think after so many years you get it, you do it, but we always continue to need that reminder of if we're not moving forward, we're moving backwards. If we're not, doing something, then we're really just going the wrong direction. So thank you for that continual reminder. Just like in
Oh,
scriptures, continue to be reminded of what God promised, right? We got to keep remembering things, we just, yeah. So thank you for that.
yeah.
Oh, it's
How many times is remember in the Bible? We just had this
100
last
169.
169.
That's right.
And as the old quote goes, it's more important to be reminded than taught. That's a biblical principle. Right?
Here we go.
So, yeah. So I just want to be clear. Anything that we teach on here, uh, take it for how you see it, where you're at, whatever season of life you're at. We don't ever want to pressure somebody. We want to hopefully inspire. That's our goal here. And so, we have decided at what pace we're going to build the business, and we got to have balance. And we're bringing on new responsibilities. Looks like as marriage ministry at our church, and it's going to take a little bit of time, whatever. And then we do counseling, and so, but we have time. We're going to make it a priority, and the reason we're making it a priority is because we have a dream and a goal, and so. I was just with a friend last week having a hamburger, and he said his dad told him, "If you ain't got your dream, you ain't got nothing." Right, Kevin? So it's a great quote.
Right.
Is that, did I get it right? Is that
That's
right? You ain't got your dream, you ain't got
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
I've been thinking about getting a coffee mug made. You ain't got your dream, you ain't got nothing. So we have a dream of what this year looks like, and I would encourage you to do the same. Remember, if we just kind of wait for tomorrow to happen and hope the next day will get better and hope the next day will get better, it probably won't. You got to have somewhere that you're going. You have to have some kind of path forward. And that's why when people get started, they see this, they get so excited. Probably all of you, the day you really understood this, you got so excited. And then you realize, oh, it might take a little bit more effort than maybe what I thought. So you get unexcited. And the reason you're unexcited is because you just had this vision of what could possibly be, but you didn't latch on to anything. So I want to encourage you to spend some time and latch on to something. And just imagine what the end of if you put effort into this for 6 months and then a year, what it could look like. You can put together a 6-figure income this year. This year, anybody on this call could do that if you put the effort in. What would an extra 100 grand a year do for you? Or let's just say you made, I don't know, 75 grand or 60 grand. Pick a number. What would that do? What kind of flexibility does that give you? And then what kind of belief does that give you to go the next year and make 200, 300, 400 grand or whatever? Think about that and what that does for you, and know that Amy and I are here to support whatever number you want. If you want to make 27 cents next year, we'll help you with that. Whatever it is you want. But I'm assuming most of you are on here because you want to make some significant income. And only with that kind of vision and drive, with several leaders doing that, are we going to do what I think a lot of us really want to do? And that's change lives for the better. That's ultimately what we care about, is this community piece. Like, if everybody on here made $1 million a year, but everybody rejected God and went out and went crazy, and I wouldn't want anything to do with that. Like, that's not what I'm here for. I still pray 7 applications I put in yesterday, even though my voice wasn't working. Every time I sat in this chair and I prayed audibly, Lord Jesus, let this credit card go through. I pray there'll be no technical difficulties. Use this patch to heal their body and use this business to change lives and lead people to truth in Jesus. Every time I put an application in, I pray that. And so when the credit card doesn't go through, I know it's either the devil or they just didn't have enough money on there. One of the two, but all of them went through yesterday. So know that we're moving ahead. You're going to continue to see us grow. I'm not going to post our numbers every single day, but I did it yesterday intentionally because I want you to know that Baldy Locks is moving on, and I want y'all to come with us. We're gonna continue to grow and bring more managers. And Charles and Karen, you guys are breaking a bunch of managers. Congratulations. Keep up the good stuff. They're going on a cruise. We didn't even qualify for the cruise. They're going on a cruise. But we are going to go to Hawaii. Yep. Lord willing, we're going to go to Hawaii. So just keep in mind that you got to have some kind of goal, some kind of dream. We're going to continue to talk about that. That is our dream. My voice is done, toast. We're going to cut this short. I can't make it anymore. So thank you all. What a great night tonight seeing y'all. And let's pack it out Thursday. Lord willing, I have my voice. If not, it'll be Amy.
Or I may not have mine. I'm 2 days behind you on this cold. I may not be speaking Thursday.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay, I'm going to breeze through this.